Hi tarot friends, it's Jade here with Tarot Your Truth. Welcome back to my channel. And today I'm here with day number 4 of Anthony's 31 Days of Tarot. And today's prompt is, what are your top 5 most used decks of 2019? So much of this, if you've watched my previous videos on the top 5 tarot decks of 2019, most of them are going to be the same. I think there are 2 that are different actually. But bearing in mind that I did only come to tarot in April of 2019, so yeah, anyway, so my most used decks are very close to my my favorite decks. In any case, let's go with number 1. So this is probably my most favorite tarot deck, most favorite ancient Italian tarot deck. If I can unwrap it from the wrap I made for it. Actually, I'm going the wrong way, but anyways, you'll forgive me. I should have just unwrapped them before. And this is the Sopraffino deck by Il Meneghello. So actually, let me show you the backs. Very pretty backs. If I can get a little bit closer. And I did talk about this. Actually, I showed the ancient Italian deck in my other video because I didn't have this one handy. I had to move everything, and I couldn't find this one right away. In any case, but this is the actual deck that I call one of the pieces of my soul. I just adore it so much. It has this staining from the original cards that were found, sort of, it's been recreated. I'm not sure if some of the artwork was cleaned up, but I don't believe so, but I could be totally wrong on that. Anyway, so coffee stains most likely, or beer or wine. I adore this deck. I have to pull it out actually. So I'm glad I had to do this video because it is coming out this month. I'll do a separate video about what I'm planning for this month. And this is one of the decks that I'm going to be pulling out for part of my tarot practice. I love this Ace of Cups. Love the moon. It's just everything about this deck. I just love it so much. At first, the square corners kind of bothered me, and I thought, oh, are they going to hurt my hands? But they really don't. I really love the empresses, by the way, that are not just, the pregnant ladies, but this is a ruler in her own right. She stands in her own power, and she can do both. Yeah. She looks like she's gonna conk you over the head with that if you make a wrong move. Anyway, yeah, so as I was saying, this one is one that I'm going to be pulling out. This is one of the ones that I definitely used the most this year. I used it for most of the summer. It's been put away for a couple of months as I've been working on some other things, but it is now going to stay on my desk. All right, so that is number 1. And I'm just going to do this so all the cards don't go flying and move it out of the way. All right, my second most used deck. Again, you may recognize the pouch. It looks a little large right now because a bunch of the cards are missing because I am working on my next series of videos for my Walking Through the Tarot series, which I'll link up above if I remember, or in the description, where I go through card by card and sort of show you almost all of the same card from all my decks, or most of my decks anyway. So these are the backs. I did show these in my previous video, so if you have seen it, actually this is where I left off in my quick walkthrough, but the reason this is one of my most used decks is because this was the first tarot deck that I bought when I came to tarot in April, and actually it was a walkthrough by another someone on YouTube. I actually can't recall who it was at the moment. I love this Judgment card. And this was really the first deck that I saw someone walking through, and I just went, "Oh my gosh, I have to go buy it." So this sort of started my love affair. You may recognize that. The Hanged Man. I love that. Getting another view of that rose. Anyway, it is, you know, the colors are dark and sometimes it's a bit challenging to see. You need good light, but I would not call this, I love the Strength card. I would not call this a dark deck. This is the one card I don't know, it just kind of irritates me. I'm not sure. I'm not too sure why, but anyway, love this card. I wouldn't call this a dark deck in the sense of, you know, the messages are sort of in your face. It's not like that at all. It gives you really, really lovely, really helpful messages, and, you know, it doesn't pull its punches either. So anyway, I won't walk through that whole thing, because if you have watched my other videos, you will have seen most of those cards already. And I do have a walkthrough of it, so if you haven't seen the other videos and you'd like to, feel free to go ahead and do that. Okay. Normally these are tied in a bow, but I had it out because this was also a deck that was in my previous video, and it is my Dark Mansion Tarot. So I think I received this deck in July, maybe a little bit earlier. I can't remember exactly. This was the first edition, and those are the backs. I do like the new backs that are available now as well. The cardstock is black cardstock, so I didn't etch that. That came like that, and I use this very frequently. I love the artwork. You know, as sort of freaky as it is a little bit, with all the arms and legs are kind of skinny compared to the size of their heads. It's that, you know, Tim Burton-esque, I love the Strength card, Tim Burton-esque kind of artwork. Other people have referred to it that way. And I kind of agree. I adore it. The readings I've gotten with this is the Judgment card. I love this one as well. The readings I've gotten with this deck have been very insightful, very true. I've done readings for other people about situations that I knew nothing about, and they all said to me that, well, they were kind of all amazed at what came out. And yeah, this card throws me a little bit for the loop. It is the Sun card. I really like it. It just it is quite a bit different than the normal take that you get. So you get there anyways. It normally takes me a little bit longer to connect with that card. I guess that probably means I need to do a little bit more pathworking with it. In any case, everyone has seen this deck. I do have a walkthrough, so if you haven't seen and you would like to see all of the cards, then feel free to take a look. I'm just gonna wrap this up this way. So that is deck number 2. Okay. I'll just move that out of the way. Oh dear. Okay. Deck number 3, you've also seen in my previous video if you watched it, and this is another one of the decks I call a Pieces of My Soul deck, or a piece of my soul deck, and it is the Hidden Realms Tarot. I adore this deck. I adore this deck so much. It never, so here's the backs. I did put clear contact paper on the back of the cards because the cardstock seemed to me to be quite thin, and I really was worried about it. I love this deck so much from day one that I really, and well, especially the more I worked with it, the more I loved it. So I wanted to make sure that it would last, and I was really worried about the cardstock. So I put the clear contact paper on it. It did take a while, I'm not gonna lie, but it's amazing. I love it. I love it so much, and it's made such a difference. I can now riffle shuffle this without having to worry about damage or anything like that. This deck has never ceased to give me amazing readings, and I have done readings of all kinds. Sorry, I'm trying to get out of the light there. I've done readings of all kinds for myself as well as for other people. I use this actually every day. Well, I used it throughout the summer. This is one card that there always has to be one, right? I use this all through the summer, and I used it every single day in the month of December for one of the challenges that I was doing. And I paired this with the Angels and Ancestors Oracle, which worked amazing for it. Every time I look at this deck, I see something different, and when I'm doing the readings, you know, I don't get this, I don't pull the same thing out of the card every time, which is just, I don't know, just my eyes get drawn to specific things, and the readings that I end up getting from it are just so insightful and so pretty accurate, I guess, is at the end of the day. So I won't go through that. I did do a walkthrough if you're interested in seeing this, and I also did a how-to video on putting clear contact paper on the backs. Not gonna lie, it takes some time, it takes some effort, but in my opinion, it was well worth it, and it gave me just that much more time to play with the deck. Okay, I'm just gonna do that for now. I'll fix that later. Okay, so that was 3. Now, number 4. Oh wait, was that 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. That was number 4. Sorry. Okay. Number 5 is an amazing deck that surprised me. This was not in my previous video. I don't know why actually, but I guess it's hard to label it. It's hard to get down to just five favorite decks for the year when you have gone crazy purchasing a few decks, more than 5 decks. This is, if you haven't recognized it already, is the Tarot Muha. This one surprised me because Art Nouveau, I don't really know anything about art. That's been one of the amazing things that I've learned from tarot this year. But yeah, I didn't, Art Nouveau, I didn't really know anything about it, and I wouldn't have said that I was drawn to it, but I saw this on a few walkthroughs, and after a few times I had to buy it. I love the colors. I love how it's Rider-Waite-Smith-ish, like the images are they're their own images, but it kind of follows the RWS style, I guess. And I just love the whole, I just love it all. I loved everything that they've done. I love the colors. The borders are fine, and I normally chop the borders off. I'm okay with the borders here. I love the color palette that they've used, and I love that they've changed from the RWS. They've done their own thing. Love the faces of the people. I find that they're very, the expressions are quite realistic in my opinion. Anyway, he doesn't look happy. He looks determined. There's the Fool with the yappy dog. I love it. I adore it. This is definitely one of my favorite and most used decks. I need to pull this out again, but I'm not going to pull it out again, I think, until spring or summer, I think. I don't know. Maybe I'll pull it out sooner. I have some plans for some intensive study for this year. So the first sort of 3 months I have specific plans for. So that was 5 decks, and I have one more, just as I had an honorable mention with my with my previous tarot video. I have an honorable mention here, and that is my zombie tarot. This is kind of funny, but there's my zombie tarot. I edged it in different shades of brown. Oh boy, butterfingers today. And this is another deck that surprised the heck out of me. I bought it because, well, I thought it was funny. I saw a couple of videos and I thought it was really hilarious. And when I got it and I started working with it, I just found, like, look at this card, the Ace of Cups. I started working with it, and, you know, despite how some of the images are, you know, obviously there's like rotting flesh and stuff. That's not my favorite thing, but I just find it so funny, so clever, and the world burning while they're safe in their underground bunker. It's just so insightful, so clever, and I did a lot of work with this deck, and I love playing with it too. Just, you know, doing the if you've ever seen Dusty White's, if you've listened to his podcast or watched his videos, or even read his book, The Easiest Way to Learn Tarot Ever, he's got some exercises in there where you're sort of pulling a card at a time. You know, it sort of builds you up, but and you build a story around the different cards. I did that a lot, actually, to the point where I, you know, sort of started with the first card, just shuffled, started with the first card, and worked my way all the way through the deck, making one continuous story, and it was so much fun. I love this High Priestess card. Anyway, so this definitely deserves an honorable mention because, yeah, it was definitely one of my, it was definitely a deck that I used quite a lot, and one of the ones I think I've enjoyed using the most, which is, I think, there's something to be said for that, right? So, anyway, so there you have it. So there's my top 5 most used tarot decks with, well, let's just say top 6, because really an honorable mention is really just an extra card and an extra deck. So there's my top 6 most used tarot decks, and I hope you've enjoyed this. This is day 4 of the 31 Days of Tarot # by Ethany Dawn, and I will see you tomorrow for day 5. Bye.